I'm Russ Heaps, and today I'm in Islamorada, Florida. I'm here with my buddy and beer-drinking co-conspirator Tim, and Rio, and Craig McVeigh. Craig is the owner-operator of the Keys Brewing Company in Islamorada, and it's located at 200 Murata Way, or Drive Street. What is it, Murata Way? Murata Way, which is between mile marker 81 and 82.
Yep, 81.6.
81.6 on the ocean side. When you come, if you don't know about the Keys, when you ask for directions to something, they're going to talk to you in terms of mile markers and ocean side or bay side, which is telling you either it's on the east side or the west side of US 1, which is the main thoroughfare down through the Keys. But anyway, we're at the Keys Brewing Company. We're going to learn a little bit about it and what's going on and how they got started. And Craig, how'd this brewery get going?
Well, it started about 5 years ago. I was a home brewer. I've been brewing for about 7 years now. All through my sort of home brewing career, people kept saying, "You make great beer, you should go pro." And of course, kept saying, "Don't worry about it, forget about it." But we kept doing it. Then after my wife and I, after we got married, we moved back to the Keys, because she was originally from here. We realized there was a real need for good beer in the Keys. There was nobody making the beer down here. So we saw a real obviously we knew what was going on in craft beer. It was blowing up everywhere, but it hadn't really come to the Keys yet. So we saw a real opportunity. So we set our minds to it. We gave ourselves a name, the Florida Keys Brewing Company. Then I started getting experience at the commercial side. Worked at a lot of different breweries to learn how to do the big equipment. I started brewing even more at home, developed a lot of recipes, and it took us about 3 or 4 years before we finally opened our doors. And then we opened in February of 2014, I believe.
Yep.
And so I've been open almost 2.5 years now. And it's been a long road. We had twins along the way, which didn't make opening easier, but we somehow survived. And now we're here. And we couldn't have found a better location in Islamorada to begin with. We're in the Murata Way Arts and Cultural District. It's a very, very big part of Islamorada. So we get to bring our art, which is beer, to be paired with everybody else's art.
So I know you're sort of in charge of brewing, and your wife Cheryl is sort of in charge of everything else. How does that work? Is it for her? Is it like herding cats, or you guys kind of fall into line, pretty much?
Well, I think honestly, it couldn't work any better. You know what I mean? It's the combination of the two of us. We're very different people. Our minds work very differently. My mind works very good for the beer. I have an engineering background, so I'm very kind of methodical, process oriented. She has the artist's mind, so it's it thinks about lots of different things. So I provide the beer, she provides the ambiance. She did the logo design, she did everything else. And I don't think, if one of us wasn't here, then this company wouldn't have worked. Because I always tell people, it was up to me, this tasting room would have been, white walls, plastic chairs, but with great beer.
Yeah.
So with her, bringing, everything else to it, the art to it, that's what's really, set us apart, and has really kind of helped us, thrive.
And Rio is the self-described hot mess of this operation.
I was prescribed that title. Cheryl gave me the title Executive Hot Mess. It came out on my business cards. That was not self-described.
How does that work? What's your role here?
I just do a little bit of everything. Sort of Craig and Cheryl make sure that everything comes together, that they create what this whole company is founded on, and I make sure the day-to-day little stuff doesn't fall through the cracks. So it's sort of like I'm an extension of their brains. I've worked at other breweries before, so I've had a little bit of hands-on brewing experience, but a lot more tasting experience and running tap rooms and hosting beer schools and creating events. And then with Cheryl, my original background is I have several degrees in fine arts and art history, and so I kind of help her with her creative process and a little bit of text editing and proofreading before things go to print, and just sort of bouncing ideas off of each other. We've had, when time permits, because they're both so busy, like a drawing night here and there to come up with ideas together, or she'll be like, help me pick out t-shirt fabrics and what color goes with this and everything. So I'm just sort of mini Craig and Cheryl to the best of my ability.
So tell me a little bit about craft brewing in the Keys.
For us, we want to bring actually locally made beer here. So every drop of our beer is brewed right here on site. And that's made a big difference because people come down here, they want local beer. And, local isn't, something from Miami. Local's from Jewfish Creek Bridge further south. And it's local is such a big thing in the Keys. Even sometimes some people in Key West think because our beer's made in Islamorada, it's not local. Like it's amazing, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. I've heard breweries from Miami come down and try to sell their local beer, and people say it's not local. It's really a very unique thing here. So I think we've tried to work hard to kind of, get into that idea. So we, obviously we are local. Everything's made local. Our company's local. So it's really worked well for us.
Speaking of local, you're also very community-minded, aren't you? Aren't you involved in several fundraisers?
Yep.
If that's the police, I've been here all day.
Local, you're also very involved in community activities. You're also doing several fundraisers, I understand?
Yeah, we have one coming up this weekend. It's the second annual Florida Keys Poker Paddle. Everybody's heard of the poker runs. They're doing the motorcycles down here. Well, this one's the paddlers only. And this year, we're raising money for the children of fallen soldiers. And so it's a great event. Obviously, we're being located in the Morada Arts and Cultural District. We're heavily involved with the Arts District. We're involved with our Chamber of Commerce and pretty much every event that goes on down here. The Keys are very good at generosity. There's a lot of fundraisers all the time, so we do everything we can to be a part of them. And it's endless. So you can see anytime somebody local, if somebody is sick or in need, the entire community comes together to help provide for that person. So it's great. Everybody in the community really does a lot to help out for each other. So we've really used that as kind of a template for how we should do it. So we try to follow everybody else's suit.
And you guys do, which is, I don't know that there's an actual tie-in with the Grateful Dead here, but I know tie-dye is in your merchandise is a big deal for you guys, and you do some sort of an annual tie-dye event where people can come in and tie-dye their own stuff. Is that?
Yeah, it's become one of our most popular events. It's our tie-dye party we do on May 20th on 420.
May 20th or April 20th?
Is it April 20th? Oh boy.
I'm gonna get.
Let me start that one again.
See, that's why you're here.
That is exactly why I'm here.
So you can tell I'm not really a deadhead. So our really big tie-dye event we do every year, it's April 20th on 420, where we provide the shirts, the dye, the instructions, everything you need to tie-dye your own shirt, and it is wildly successful.
It's awesome. I had never tie-dyed before I started working here, and I was like, this is so much fun. And Cheryl comes up with the idea of doing white t-shirts with our logo printed on in white ink. So the logo doesn't show up until after you've tie-dyed, and she's just got such a great mind, and it's open to the whole community. We've got beer, and we do a special beer release called Green Card, which is this deliciously dank IPA that I think is one of his best brews. So I love that day twice over.
So, Craig, tell me one thing about yourself that probably not many people know.
It's something I probably don't talk about a lot to people, but how much sleep I lose over beer. I don't think people understand it. Sometimes people see, I might be in a bad mood, I'm tired. They won't know what's going on because one of my beers is not quite doing right. You know what I mean? So I'm just up at night thinking about it, worrying about it. I think that's kind of how much sort of passion and care I have for everything we do here. If I'm trying to put out an amazing product, and if in my mind it's not coming out well, it has an impact on me. So I don't talk too much about it just because people will probably think I'm crazy, but.
One thing that is well known, but that the viewers are probably picking up on with your about thing. You're originally from Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm a transplant. I've been in Florida for 17 years now. Originally graduated from college and came down for a year and never left. And then fell in love with the Keys before I met Cheryl. And then I was down here fishing one weekend. Met her at Hog Heaven, where all the good couples meet. And we met, went kayaking the next day, and the rest is history, so to speak. So,
Rio, one thing that a lot of people don't know about you.
This will probably come as a shock, especially to you.
Oh, boy.
I used to loathe craft beer. I did. I was a poor college student. I was doing 2 separate bachelor's degrees simultaneously. Took 5 classes, taught a 6 every semester my whole way through. So when I finished and I had my 3-day weekend, I wanted a $5 pitcher of Sailor Jerry. And all my friends were like, let's go to World of Beer, it's really cool. And I was like, it's $8 a pint. That liquor pitcher is $5. What? And so I tried to drink some of it, and the only one that ever impressed me, which still to this day I love, is Delirium's Tremens, the one with the little pink elephants. Mm-hmm. And I moved over to Scotland to do my master's degree, and I went to Belgium, and I had it there, and I got to go to the Delirium Cafe. And in my time there, I started to realize what craft beer meant. It meant the nicest people, the most passion about something that you're creating, and a really great product at the end. I was like, all right, I can get behind this. And then the more I tried, the more I loved it. And everyone like teases me, like, my best friend is like, do you remember that time you hated craft beer? And now it's all you do? I was like, yeah, don't tell anybody.
Well, it's funny when you talk about getting into craft beer. When Cheryl and I, really got into craft beer, probably 12, 13 years ago, I was trying to get her into it. So I kept giving her, just as all guys do, giving her the light beers, the Kolsch's, all these different things. She's like, no, I don't like that stuff. She started drinking the browns and the stouts and these beers with these amazingly complex flavors. And that's how she fell in love with craft beer. Instead of just having to drink the light stuff, it's the full flavored stuff. So it's there's a beer out there for everybody.
I was just going to say, and you can probably know this from experience. If you say you don't like craft beer, it's just because you haven't had the one yet that you do like.
Absolutely. There's a beer and a book for everyone, like hands down.
Yeah.
Craig's goal is to make the best beer possible, and my personal goal is to change everyone's opinion on dark beer.
Speaking of which, what are we drinking now? It's delicious.
Spearfish Amber.
And whose recipe is it? Your recipe?
Yeah, this
Greg?
is my recipe, which for the most part, all the recipes here are mine. Rio just helped with beer we have on tap right now called Boobylicious.
Which I had when we were in here the other day, and it is excellent.
Thank you.
So it's a salted caramel milk stout, which Rio's been wanting to do forever. But then we partnered with the Wild Bird Sanctuary down here, which we've worked with them in the past, where $1 from every pint gets donated to them. But they have a masked booby there right now. So that's where the Boobylicious came from. They originally wanted to name the bird Boobylicious, but that got voted down. We can do anything we want here.
Yeah. What should we be tasting here? Is there anything that you were going for in this?
Well, what I like about the amber, it's an American amber ale. Obviously, there's gonna be a nice malt backbone to it, so it's gonna be flavorful. But then I want a little bit of hop bitterness as well. So you do get some of that sort of citrus hop flavor in the back end, but it's a really complex flavor, very flavorful. Some ambers can be a little bit sort of lighter on the flavor profile, but I wanted something a little more complicated to it.
So if you're
No, go ahead.
If you go for it, you're going to taste lots of like toffee and caramel in the initial taste, and as it hits the back of your throat and goes down, that's where you'll get the hop bitterness. So it's like this little sneaky surprise. So
And I have to say it works well because I'm not a big hop fan. I'm not an IPA. This guy here, he's if it's a 4 or 5, that's him right here. And I'm not crazy about hop, but boy, I really like this.
Yeah, there's just enough, it's, we always, tell people, it's not, if you're scared of hops, then this will still be fine for you. So we do all our big hoppy beers and we try to do everything else, but I wanted a sort of a good in-between beer with this one. And this one, we unfortunately had to change the name of recently. And I will touch base on this because this is an interesting story to say the least. This used to be called Hogfish Amber. I called it Hogfish Amber forever. As you know, in South Florida, the hogfish is a, very popular, important fish, even more so in the Keys. So we called it Hogfish Amber. Well, we got notification from another brewery called Dogfish Head Brewery. Hogfish and Dogfish were too similar in their eyes, and we're infringing on their trademark. So, very long story short, this beer is now called Spearfish Amber.
And our t-shirts say "Kiss My Ras." So it worked out pretty well.
I guess that's about it. I want to thank you guys for inviting us in. It's been fun. We've learned a little bit, particularly about you guys and about the brewery. And thanks again. Until
Cheers.
next
Cheers.
time,
Cheers.
see ya.
Really? They freaking went after you guys? What a bunch of assholes.